welcome everyone back. You're listening to a special Mother Day edition here on KHTS AM 1220. This edition sponsored by Bonefish Grill, and we're lucky enough to have Della here with us. So I know you had a couple more questions that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, Della, what are the challenges that you have and that you face on a daily basis in wanting to support your mom?
My challenges are being able to coordinate my calendar for her doctor appointments, my days off, trying to be able to go and spend time with her and put that into my weekly routine. I work, and then on my days off, I have things I need to do, errands I need to run, and so trying to balance that has been a challenge.
Is it hard to create the priorities if mom doesn't come first?
Sometimes I feel guilty. As mom gets older and you want to spend more time with your family because family is important.
Right.
Yeah, so I face that, but my mom, she's very, very understanding, and she knows that I have a lot going on. So that's why I guess I call her every morning. Right. To have that special gift to be able to talk to her.
And I'm sure mom appreciates you need your downtime too.
Right.
I'm sure she respects that. We all need that little bit of downtime also.
Right. If you can squeeze it in, right?
Right.
As our parents age, how do you feel emotionally about your mom aging? I mean, when mom hits 80, which she is now, how does that make you feel? What do you see?
I feel old. My mom's at that age, she's 80. I'm in my mid-50s, so as you see your parents getting older and they slow down, it makes you realize, you want to spend time with them. You want to be around your mom as much as possible.
Yeah. How, with Dad at home, Jeri, and you're visually every single day seeing him and he's aging, how do you feel about that? Where does that take you?
It's making me, because he has heart and kidney issues, and he was a smoker for many years. But what I've learned is that I've started much earlier taking care of myself. So it's kind of interesting because I don't want to be a burden on my boys.
Oh, I want to be a complete burden.
I already told her I have a little shed in the backyard. We already said we're going to call it Grandma's Flats.
It needs running water, but that is my goal, is to be a burden.
And that's what happens when you have girls, and when you have boys, that's not the same. There it is again. It's not the same. So my thing is that I'm going to work out and take care of myself differently. There's interesting things when I get home. I was telling Della earlier, I just like to go home and take my shoes off and get my PJs on, even if it's 6 o'clock at night.
Doesn't matter what time it is. Do the same thing.
But I can't because he's been home all day by himself. So I've learned that I come home and I put my bags down, and he shows me what he's done around the house, which I'm very, very grateful for. What trips he's done to the grocery store and bought what groceries, and I take that extra. It's actually 10 to 15 minutes of him telling me a little bit about his day that goes so far. I wasn't doing that a while ago.
So now you're being a conscious daughter.
Very conscious daughter for that 10 or 15 minutes. I'll go then change and then sometimes come back down for dinner, sometimes not. But needing for him not to have that companionship and someone to talk to during the day other than the dogs. He takes very good care of the dogs. He needs that. And it took me a while for him to share with a neighbor, they don't have time. They don't have time for us. And what a gift that was. Once again, the feedback gift of, holy cow, what a gift that was to see his perspective, because, I figured he was living in our house and
that was good enough.
Right. And it wasn't good enough.
Right.
Even though, so that extra 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes, he has a warm bed to sleep in.
Yes.
But how is he feeling?
Exactly. And that was a great gift, a great perspective shift for me to know that, 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to stand in those heels and I'm going to do a tour around the house. I'm going to see what he's bought at Costco, and I'm going to be there.
I actually love that. The last 18 months of my mom's life, she was ill. and my sister and I, and my mom and dad, very close. We were all very, very close all the time. And it's really interesting because my sister played nurse. She was there all the time, and I was so afraid of losing my mother that I backed away. And when my mom finally, when she did pass, see, probably the only regret I've ever had in my life is that I wasn't more present for her.
But as your daughter, I watched that happen, and as your daughter, it wasn't the same role that your sister had, that my aunt had. You played a huge role. Your intelligence in that part of you, your mom loved to talk to you every day. She would say she needed a break from Eileen once in a while. She needed Ellen. She really did.
Well,
you were
it's hilarious
there.
because my sister was the one when my mother, would end up in the hospital. She was the one that was getting the nurses, getting the rundown, and I was sitting in the corner just being. She had to know everything, and I always felt way back then that, I should be more vocal. I should, be more caring in that sense. But I think you're right. I think that I gave my mom a sense of peace. Mm-hmm. And I've had to really work to readjust my thought process on how that last 18 months looked. But it was hard. It's still hard when I think about it.
And I had that. My mom had ovarian cancer and suffered for 3 years before she died. And I took on the role as the oldest daughter and the one living closest of the doctors and the chemo visits.
The caretaker.
I'll never forget when they first got the diagnosis. My mom was on the board of Granada Hills Hospital and lived in a hospital every day for the last, and never went to doctors. And when they got the diagnosis, became frozen. So I learned that I also had to be a mouthpiece for them to ask questions, but to ask them in a kind way, not in, what the heck are you not answering, and asking this question for? Or I was a level of frustration so many times. And Nancy Coulter, who is a past Woman of the Year up here, works with the American Cancer Society, pulled me away and said, you have to learn how to ask the right questions and the kind questions, and not to bulldoze and sit back and know that they're stuck in fear, and this is your role, and to just roll with how they want it to happen. And I wanted things, it's interesting how crazy. I saw a Grey's Anatomy show about 3 weeks ago, and it was about one of the doctors losing her mom to cancer, and how she wanted the treatment to look different than what her mom wanted. And my mom had chosen at the very end not to take a treatment that was experimental. She was claustrophobic and didn't want to go into a closed MRI, and chose not to do this experimental treatment. And I wasn't getting those cues. I was not.
Were you fighting her?
I was angry.
Yeah.
I was really.
How could she do this to me?
It wasn't to me, but why would you? I mean, it's, an hour.
Seems so simple.
How are you going to? Yeah, and it was her way of saying she was giving up without her not having the words. Now, being coached in a different space, if it was now, I would totally get it.
Right.
But it took a TV show to show me a snapshot of what I was being, and wow. And not being very kind with my siblings either, because why aren't you here? And when you do come here, getting the house dirty, and I'm having to pick up after the house. I mean, I had my list of with
you had
my
your
siblings.
list. Period.
I had a list, which was not good, but it really took a TV show in the last few weeks to point out that I wanted it in a different way and more than what she was able to handle. She was saying, "No, I'm done. 3 years of chemo, I'm done."
And you have to love her through that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think what you said goes to a lot of things, not just medical, but about not bulldozing over, whether it be our daughter. I mean, I try and make decisions for my daughter all the time, and I'm not listening sometimes. And so I think it goes to everything. Being in a kind manner, saying it kindly, and not making it our issue.
Well, like Alex has taught us, how do you want to show up? Mm-hmm. In our minds, we think that we are being a certain way, but how are we really being? How are we showing up in this relationship or in this moment? That was a huge eye-opener to me, because now I'm aware. How am I showing up? What is this person getting and receiving from me?
Well, 'cause it used to be if I didn't text you or call you within 2 days, I was getting these. Did I do something wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Is that Mom? Nothing's wrong. It's just kind of a boring couple days. I don't have anything to share.
We've totally grown through that. I think as a mom, you have to be really patient with not only yourself, but you need to be patient with these individuals. You don't own them. They are not yours. They're people in their own worlds. And I've learned to really respect their space, their time, and it makes the time that we do share actually,
More
or
enjoyable.
the phone call that lasts an hour if we haven't connected in a long
Being
time.
37
or
homes
whatever.
away from each
I
other.
know.
An hour phone call. How-
Oh, all the time.
cool.
I think we probably talked 2 hours this weekend. Now we're on Saturday, and now we're on Sunday.
Yeah, but we don't really, during the week everybody's
quick
busy.
text,
It's
yeah.
it's a quick. If I need something, if she needs something, can you pick Maddie up or whatever? So those moments that we do actually have time to connect. So it's so wonderful, Della, that you are so aware of taking that time and making that connection most days with your mom, because you can't get that back.
Well, I think my mom's gift is she's able to tell me what she did. I think she likes telling me what she did the day before. So I did last night, took the dog for a walk, whatever it is. She wants to share with me what took place during her day. So most of the time in the morning, I listen to her.
Isn't that it's wonderful that she wants to share that, but you're giving her that space and that opportunity to be there with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you juggle mother-in-laws and mothers, and how is that working?
I don't know. It's kind of hard. My mother-in-law is great. We always say, if you ever listened to back in the day, the He Said, She Said show, we talked a lot about her. She's a little nutty. She's a little demanding. She needs a lot. I mostly make my husband do that phone call. I will do the Mother's Day call, and I do send her. I always do a gift or a flowers or something like that. But honestly, I've always told her I wish they were closer. They're in Arizona. I would take care. If she was here, I would probably have that same relationship that I have with my own mom. We'd go to lunch together. We'd probably do vacations together. I'd invite her over for dinner.
I don't know.
I don't know if I
your
would talk-
husband would allow that.
But there's a balance. She's not that close.
So am I hard to juggle?
Depends on what kind of mood you're in.
I'm not really that moody. You're the moody one.
Well, I am moody. I'm very moody.
Yeah.
So when we talk, it has to be. It's got to be.
It's on her
How's
terms.
my mood going?
Yeah.
So you've got a mom that's walking on eggshells with you?
Pretty much.
No, I wouldn't say all the time. It just
Sometimes.
depends.
Well, it's like, yes, she lives 37 houses down, but I don't stop in.
When we first moved in, we did a lot.
There was a lot more stop in, but then,
Then we got boring, I think.
well, it just became, it's her home and her space and her family space.
Well, and for myself, we went through a lot of change in my own family over the last year.
That's true.
My immediate in-house family. And there were days I really needed my mom, and then there were days I really needed everyone to
Go away.
Just back off. So I think it changed more so in the last year.
Yes.
As I kind of just had to put up some boundaries and learn. I have 3 grown-up kids. I'm changing my role in life. I was used to having little ones and going to Girl Scouts and things like that. And
Being party mom.
And being the party mom for all the classrooms. And so I think in the last year, watching my own kids get a little bit older, I did push my mom away a little bit because I had to learn now what this is. Didn't mean I ever told you to go away or...
No, you didn't have to tell me. I could feel it. We are so connected
Yes.
because we've been together and for a long time. I read her, and what I'm learning to do over time is that's okay. You can read her. This doesn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah, and sometimes I still have to tell you that.
You know, it's interesting because I had a conversation yesterday with my youngest, and I was sharing with him that there's times there I feel like I have to walk on eggshells around him. And as a parent, that's tough.
It's really tough because in your mind, it's like, why the heck should I have to do this?
And I asked him, what can I do to shift that? Because I'm not comfortable with it. I don't want to walk on eggshells with you. And he didn't really have a response. So
I want to ask my 16-year-old that, because I have that same, I don't have it with my 20-year-old or my 14-year-old, but my 16-year-old, if I look the wrong direction, he's, why are you doing that? What? And I don't know if it's I don't think for him it's the age, because he's always kind of been like this with me. But we had a conversation this weekend similar to that, and
it's about even kids learning how to be vulnerable when talking to your parent.
Right. Or I could look, and I think I've got a straight face, and he's like flipping out because he reads my face as something different.
Mm-hmm.
Without saying,
without a conversation.
There's no words, just walking in the room.
And now he thinks you're mad or you're upset or
I'm judging him. Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of that with my son.
Yeah, your middle one.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I even said something the other day. I'm like, what did I do? Like, what did I do? I was standing here doing dishes, staring at the TV, and it was already, what's wrong
I really
with you, Mom?
don't think it had anything to do with you.
Yeah.
But as moms, we take it all. We take the lashings, we take the hugs.
And what a great perspective that she's able to let you know it's not about you, it's really about him, and give that perspective.
Yes.
How blessed are you two?
We are.
Want to take it out?
Yes, you're listening to KHTS AM 1220. This is a wonderful Mother's Day special brought to you by Bonefish Grill. We will be right back. Welcome back to this wonderful Mother's Day special. We know, thinking of all you mothers out there, you're listening to KHS AM 1220. And I know we wanted to talk to Della a little bit more about Bonefish Grill before we head on out of here.
Yeah, Della, tell us about what you have coming up for Mother's Day.
On Sunday, we have a Sunday brunch, Mother's Day brunch, endless bubbles brunch.
I love that.
You can get, we have Chipotle Bloody Marys, Eggs Benedict, omelets. Plus, we also are serving our core menu, so if you want to have ribeyes or fish.
Now, do I have to make a reservation? Because I know we haven't made our plans yet.
It's highly recommended.
Okay.
Yes.
To make reservations.
I don't
think we should cook this weekend. What do you think?
We should never cook on Mother's Day.
I think you should come on over to Bonefish
We should.
Grill.
The husbands make the phone call. They just tell us what time they got, and we get to show up.
I was going to say, you guys are going to make the phone call, aren't you?
You know us control people over here. Because we know what time.
Actually, just give it to her, then there's no phone call made. She'll take it right now.
We'll just give you the information. You know, I have to say, with being a mom is probably the hardest job ever. But it comes with so much love that I don't think that I would give everything up to make sure that, I was able to be your mom, to be my kid's mom. It's a wild ride. It's a wild ride.
Absolutely. And recently, well, not recently, because our granddaughter's 2.5, but, as I say, I could be done. With having a grandchild, it just has tied it in the prettiest bow that you could ever imagine.
Well, we always laugh. We have this little saying that says, if I knew how amazing being a grandmother was, I would have skipped this part.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's magic. Being a grandma is magic.
Being a mom is magic, too. I do have to say, because my daughter is here with me today. I got the sweetest text last week from her. I was doing some new health routines and exercising, and she texted me and said, "How's your day going, Mom? Just want to let you know I love you."
Nothing like it.
One little thing like that as a mom makes your whole entire day. And you just feel so loved. Or when your kid comes home and just gives you that hug for no reason,
it's amazing. It's amazing. Even at your age, and I won't say what your age is.
Thank you.
When you send me a text, or even that never goes away, is what I'm saying. It's like, is it wonderful when they're 5 and they go, "I love you, Mommy," and then when they're 14, almost 15, they say, I hope you're having a good day. It never goes away. I mean,
there
our
isn't a
oldest
big diamond that
is
can
like
compare to that.
45.
Yeah.
And when she texts me and says, hey, been thinking about you. I hope everything is good. It's like, wow. That's
the best gift ever.
joy that you get
Yeah.
from that.
That's what I told my daughter.
Never
I don't
goes
need a
away.
gift for Mother's Day. She
No.
was asking, Mommy, what do you want? I do not need anything, honey. Your text last week, and I think she had sent me another one that just said, I love you. That's what I need. And that's...
Talk about a gift with the biggest bow in the world.
Yeah.
That's it right
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what Della gets to do for her mom every morning. That's what you're
It's
doing
a
right
gift.
now as a daughter
That's
for
how
your
we
dad.
end every conversation is I love you back.
Yes.
That's the last words I want my mom to hear.
Absolutely,
Always.
yeah.
Always.
And I believe,
Absolutely.
too, that they grew up in a generation where I love you was not spoken out loud.
Oh. Okay.
I-
there are many homes where you do not
Right.
divulge that type of emotion. Fortunately, I didn't grow up in that.
I don't think you and I have ever gotten off the phone without saying I love you. It wouldn't matter if I talked to you 5 minutes before and then
Yeah,
we're
it's
still hanging
always,
up.
I'll
Bye, Mom, I
talk
love
to
you.
you tomorrow. Love you.
Yeah.
Now, I know my mom had that with her family, but my dad did not have that.
So did your dad say I love you to you, though?
He does, but not early days, but now always.
Interesting. Well, guys have a different makeup. Our family, only because they're older, they didn't grow up that way. It was not, feelings weren't spoken, and they're learning, and I love it.
Okay, well, let's end this on a really positive note. We want to give a huge shout out to all you moms out there this weekend. We hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. Make sure you go check out Bonefish Grill. Great Mother's Day brunch special. Check them out on Friday, Saturday. Anita, you actually want to. Located over there at the Thousand Oaks Mall. We thank you for...
not
Thousand Oaks? Whoa, I just moved. Oh my gosh, at the Valencia Town Center. How did I... Wow, I don't know how I got to Thousand Oaks. But we thank you so much for listening. You're listening to KHTS AM 1220. Hope you have a wonderful day.